Welcome everyone to another night review. We have the 2023 Toyota Sequoia, and in this night video we're going to take a look at these exterior lights, the new interior ambient lighting, and get it out on the road for a test drive. Alright, so let's start up front on the exterior. If you're new to this night video platform, I do these on a lot of different vehicles, and I'll have a full review with all the details following this up soon. So for this 2023 Sequoia, it's redesigned, it's all new, and this is the top end capstone trim. You're going to get LED headlights standard on every single trim and LED daytime running lights, but they're a little bit different here. These are the premium LEDs with sequential turn signals that you'll see in a little bit. But keep in mind, these LED fog lights down here, those are actually standard on every trim, and the TRD Pro will even give you an extra LED light bar and marker lights. You can see the sequential function right here coming through this accented light design right here. What do you think of that? It looks very distinctive and it stands out a lot. The Sequoia is still a big 3-row SUV. It even got a little bit longer for this year, but look at that turn signal in the mirror. That is going to be standard. You're going to have huge wheels, 22-inch wheels on this capstone model. We've got marker lights both on the front and the back for extra safety. Back here, there's even more sequential lighting. What do you think of that? So instead of the light bar that Toyota and Lexus have kind of been going with, we have two separate taillights. What do you think of that? Paired with this LED sequential turn signal. Again, the sequential turn signal is only on certain models, but LED taillights are standard. Now to get to the back, you've got a foot activated lift gate. You can also do that. It does not have the sliding rear glass anymore. It's a flip up glass, but that's a bright light right there. And then you've got illuminated buttons back here. And now the cargo lights, not that great. You've got one light down there low, and it doesn't work all that well because I have a roof right here, like a tiered shelf system back here. It's kind of unique, but you can see the cabin lights will work pretty well if you have seats folded for extra lighting. And just so you know, the power folding function is also illuminated. Now this paint is Toyota's Wind Chill Pearl. It's a very nice white metallic-y paint, a little bit ivory colored, and it looks fantastic. Now hopping into the second row seats, you even get ambient lighting back here. You can see that on the doors. We've got pop down running boards, and you've got your own climate controls, all the illuminated buttons there. We have a big panoramic roof, so the lights are on the side and they are pretty darn bright as well. Let's check out the front. Like I said, if you want more details on this vehicle and everything that you get with it, be sure to check in the description for a full daytime review. But you get a marker light down there. You've got ambient lighting in the footwells and all over the place. And before we hop in, take a look at these capstone seats. This white leather seat with the two-tone. Looks very nice, but it does show colors and stains, so be sure to keep that in mind. But let's dive in and take a look at this brand new interior. Now we've hopped inside of the Sequoia. Let me make this fairly quick. Just gonna go over the lighting. So all over the vehicle, you have this kind of the same Toyota color. It's like a light blue color for your buttons and your controls, and even the ambient lighting, and that is not changeable. The ambient lighting on the door, it looks a little bit more white here in person, but it's more of like a lighter, softer blue color. And then all illuminated buttons down here, and then on this panel you've got all these illuminated buttons down there as well, so things are illuminated pretty well. The only thing is the memory settings are not illuminated down here on the door. One of the useful buttons over here is this A with the headlight. That is the automatic high beam function, so you just turn it off or on with the push of that button. Down at the feet, you get a little footwell lighting that you can turn off if you want. Right in front of us, we get this brand new digital display. This is not as customizable as some full digital displays. You can change information on the right side of the screen and more kind of trip computer basic information and like music and settings and things on the left side. Otherwise, the middle stays pretty much the same, changes a little bit depending on your drive mode. Right overhead, we get a head-up display here depending on the trim level. Then coming across, we've got a much bigger screen here. This is a massive screen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on here as well. The flicker on the screen is just through the camera. It is not in person, so don't mind that. I like the way this looks. It takes up the whole screen. It is kind of integrated, but kind of tablet style as well. But we're talking about lighting here, so let's go ahead and jump into that. Go to the settings, and we're gonna go down. And obviously, so let's look at display first. Hit the display button. You can change the display brightness, have it be automatic. And I like that it can actually get dim if you want it to, or darken or bright if you want it as well. Go to vehicle customization now, and lights, of course. Here are a few adjustable settings for your lights that you have right there. Nothing extraordinary. The physical light controls are on the stock. Otherwise, nothing too crazy with that. I'll talk about the ambient lighting in a second. All illuminated controls here. Again, I go through more in detail in the full review. Ambient lighting down there with a wireless charger. You've got an illuminated trailer brake controller over there and your start button and this white leather all over the place. Now let me turn the overhead lights off, and you still have a nice ambient glow down here. This is just a tad brighter than what it is in person, but it looks nice and it's turned up all the way. And if we open this up, we've got more lighting in here and a couple USB backlit ports. Drive mode and four-wheel drive controls are also illuminated here. There is a USB port right over there that does not have a light right next to the screen. Kind of surprising. But as we look overhead, this is where things get a little bit interesting. So you just touch the light in order to turn LED light on right there. You can control the lights turning off or on when the door opens with that, or turn all of them on with that button. And all LED lighting in here, it's not overwhelmingly bright, but it is bright enough. I wish we could turn on the rear LED lights or the rear passenger lights without turning on the front lights, because it is a family vehicle, but you can't unless you're in the back seat. But the coolest part about these overhead controls, one is this little section right here. This is the little ambient light glow. And then this mood button, this is your ambient lighting. So you can keep it where it is, press it once, press it twice. And if you press it twice, it turns the ambient lighting off. Then we go all the way bright, go to somewhat dim, and then turn it off. All the way bright, dimmer, off. To the left of the steering wheel, you can also control the interior brightness by pushing this button, and that controls mainly this screen and your buttons and controls. So watch those controls. All the way dim, and now nice and bright. And if you have your ambient lighting on, so I'm gonna turn this back on, if I turn the interior brightness all the way down with that other button, it will turn that off as well. Now, unlike Lexus, if you actually go into drive or go into gear, it doesn't automatically dim. You do not have control of the color of this light, and you don't have specific dimming function controls like for the footwells or dimming that or whatever. It's just all with that mood button, 3-tier. And we have this camera mirror right here on upper trim levels, and that looks great. Then the glove box has a nice little glow in it, and right overhead, a super bright vanity light. And in a big vehicle, we have this standard panoramic monitor, and the lighting is actually pretty good on here. Let's see how these headlights do. Now, as we started up, these are actually auto leveling headlights. These are the premium LED headlights on this top capstone trim. The bottom two trims will actually get manual level adjustment to where you'll probably have a switch to where you can raise or lower those headlights depending on if you're pulling something. These are auto leveling headlights, and they got a really nice beam pattern, nice and solid, nice and bright, going all the way across. Then those high beams, again, nice and bright, a pretty wide pattern too. So these are not adaptive side to side or anything, and if we turn the fog light on, you get a little bit of immediate width. They're not like cornering lights or anything like that. I kind of wish they were. No IIHS safety ratings at this time. Now, as we look out at the horizon and a longer distance across the parking lot where I always line up, those posts are very well lit. Nice high beam pattern over there. And to the left, the very bottom of the hill has some light about the way it normally is, and not too bad at all. This whole parking lot is very well lit, and then bright high beams. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of the Sequoia at night. Now, this is gonna be pretty much just about the lighting. Automatic high beams, how well we do on dark roads, corners, things like that. If you want a more detailed, elaborate test drive with more impressions on that stuff, be sure to wait for the full review and check the description for that. But I'll give you a quick snippet of what we got here. Got a new twin turbo V6 hybrid combo, tons of torque, pedal down. It gets up and moves. I mean, this is a big vehicle, it's heavy, and it just gets out of its own way. Obviously, it's not the V8 anymore. There's no V8 anymore. It's just this twin turbo hybrid V6 here. All right, right off the bat, I'm gonna turn the automatic high beams on. I'll let you know when they are on and when they are off. So far, they are off, which is good because we've had some traffic, we've got some overhead street lights, but regardless, these headlights are very bright. We have a nice commanding view. One bonus of this Sequoia is we have automatic dimming side mirror on the driver's side on every single Sequoia. And every Sequoia is going to give you an automatic dimming rear view mirror as well. And this one is an option, this camera mirror, if you want it. So far so good here. Haven't had to turn the high beams off or anything. The road is pretty well lit, but we'll get on a dark road in just a second. All right, y'all, we're now just getting on a dark road, and I've got a new camera rolling for the close-up view. Let me know if it's better or worse or what you think. All right, the high beams just kicked on. Got a car coming. We'll see if they turn off. Ooh, they're still on. Okay, they just turned off. That was a little late. I would have turned mine off a little sooner just to be nice, but all right, low beams, see well into the corner. The high beams just turned back on. Those are very bright right in the middle. Everything looks great going around this corner with the high beams. Let me actually turn the high beams off so we can check out these low beams. Okay, just the low beams right now. No fog lights, just low beams. The beam has a nice reach to it. I can see some lights up there. And high beams, nice and bright. I can even see some trees like up high, like there's some lift on these lights. Low beams. So far these are doing a good job. See how it is around a corner here. Oh yeah, I can see around that corner pretty well. The height of the high beam is good and the reach is good. And the width is pretty good right here too. Left corner. That's looking good as well. Let me turn the automatic function back on. Now the high beams are on. High beams have stayed on, and the high beams have a great reach up ahead. I can see very well. That looks great. And just the low beams here. I turned the high beams off. Let me go with the fog lights. So the fog lights. So the peripherals, fog lights off, fog lights on. And the high beams keep turning on. I gotta turn the automatic function on. Fog lights off, fog lights on. Good immediate peripherals. I haven't been able to use them in adverse weather or fog or anything, but they add a little bit to your drive. Now I'm gonna turn the automatic high beams back on. There they go. Give you another look. Low beams, high beams. What do you think? These low beams have great reach. Some of them don't even get into the distance on this road. Now in my tight little cornering function, I like to come here where I can see just how narrow the headlights are and how well you can see in some corners. So for cornering, I'm gonna have the fog lights on. Those don't really help in that corner. They do help next to the vehicle though, but I can already see fairly well over there. The headlights really light it up, and then going to the right, it's not dark at all. I can see pretty well. So these are great. These definitely pass my test. I would give them a great rating. I don't know how well they do. I don't know how the glare is, but I like the new ambiance in here and the option to turn the ambient lighting off if you want to, or have it on dim, whatever you like. What do you think? Let me know down below, and be sure to check out the full review. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and we'll catch you next time.